Well, here we are, guys. So I'm still waiting for the outcome of the prognosis of the engine on the car, and I've kind of been doing some preparation to attain my HGV license while I kind of wait for what's going to happen there. So I thought, while I'm in the process of waiting, I will jump on the old bike, cycle down to this beautiful place, which happens to be one of my favourite kind of places in Norwich. Spent a lot of time here walking, spending time with God and just trying to get some sense of direction in what I want to do in life and find a little bit of His peace. So I was kind of sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? And as I kind of sat there, I thought, right, just get out. I can't be sitting in all the time waiting for information on what that's going to happen there. So I've had to put that kind of on hold. I've been revising hard, so I need a little bit of a break for that, for the theory test for the HGV. And I thought, well, the channel, I haven't posted anything up for a bit because there's been really kind of nothing really to put up. So I thought I'd do a little vlog for you, and I don't know kind of how that'll go down, or if you like it, if you don't like it, but I just thought I would kind of share a little bit of my hopes, dreams going forward. So I decided to do that while I'm coming to this place. So yeah, really, I don't think anything in life comes without its challenges. You know, anything that you hope to do and that you're passionate about, or you dream about doing, you know, I don't think it's going to come easy and without its challenges. I certainly, coming into 40 years, have kind of learned a little bit about life by this stage, to know that things need to be worked for. Anything worth keeping hold on to is not going to come easy, and you won't get the benefit from everything that's being handed to you. You won't appreciate it. You'll have no appreciating for these things if it's just handed to you. How could you? You know, if everybody just gave me everything in life, I can appreciate it from a standpoint of, I've had to work for it, I've had to put in the effort, I've had to shed my blood, sweat and tears for it, you know. And it's kind of like, you know, I've kind of had a little bit of a troubled life. Life didn't start off easy, and it kind of carried on that way for a long time, really. I didn't have an easy relationship growing up with anybody, really. I always kind of struggled with kind of relationships in life. Had a difficult relationship with my parents, and you know, that kind of wasn't their fault. That was more to do with me and the issues that I had as a kid, and that kind of marred things for going forward. And then you know, I tried many different things to kind of straighten myself out, and couldn't really grasp it. So really, you know, to kind of go through that and make a lot of mistakes. I mean, I have made a lot of mistakes in life, and I will say kind of openly that, you know, I've hurt a lot of people in life, because I had unresolved issues, and I never was able to kind of really fully understand what those issues even were. I just had a lot of anger about things, and You know, I was very jealous and very envious of other people and other people's success, thinking that should be me and that I deserved it. But I guess you come to an understanding in life that you never really deserve anything. Why should anything be given to you? Why should you have that life? You know, those people that I was so envious of probably worked really hard. Maybe some of them were fortunate enough to have wealthy families and backgrounds, but that all came from somewhere. It all came from somewhere. You know, you look at history in itself, you'll find that there have been rich and powerful people all the way throughout our history. Oh dear, flood. Are we going to get across that? Gonna have to go and find another path. Let's see, how bad is it? Is it that bad? I think it might be. Yeah, there's always been kind of rich and powerful people throughout all our history. There's been wars, there's been uprisings. But somewhere in the midst of that, we find ourselves in a civilization now where we have become a little bit more civilized. Maybe some parts of the world are still holding on to some old notions of eye for eye, tooth for tooth and all that. But yeah, it's not the way to be. That's not the way to be. So somewhere along this life, you kind of meet people that do have your back and want the best for you and will try and help you out. Bit flooded that way. It's a bit flooded that way.
Oh, is that? How far up?
Literally just round the corner down that corner.
Flooded up here. Yeah.
I don't know, it's before there.
Oh, is it?
It's literally, if you go over that bridge, it's literally on the corner.
Do something there every time I come up here. Oh, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, no worries.
And then so I went to
So yeah, as I was saying, you know, there's been people in life that have come along and had your back and want you to do well. But I guess I never really had an understanding of how to deal with that, how to handle that, and I didn't handle it well, and I don't think I did them justice. So now I'm a little bit older and hopefully a little bit wiser. You know, there's a part of me that thinks, well, where would I be if I didn't have somebody that came along at that right time to help me out and to kind of work with me on these things and give me a nudge. I mean, we've all got to make our own way eventually, but I guess you need those people in life to kind of help you, just steer you in the right direction. And even if you go off the path again, even if you find yourself well at the mercy of others and you're not doing things correctly, but you can get back on that path. And generally, as you get a bit older, you kind of mature, and as you mature, you kind of understand that there's just things that are not worth it, you know. And I had a lot of battles with gangs and with drugs, alcohol. I was very much an immoral person, all very much about myself, and some of those traits, the selfishness and that, I guess, is a bit more of a safety mechanism. So I kind of withdraw away from people sometimes and kind of go a bit more into myself, because that's where I feel safest, you know. So as a process of change, you know, I find faith in God, and I find that actually I have a creator that created the universe, and since I've become aware of that, I can see his kind of love and that in the world, and in things that in ways that I never thought I would ever be able to. And that's woken me up to a lot of things, you know. It brought me out of a deepness of addiction, and broke some chains in my life that were really holding me back. And I guess for last 6 years, you know, in March I'll be six years exactly clean and sober, and within that's only by God's strengthening me. I know you may not believe in God, and you may not believe in Jesus, or you may just be sitting there and just be like, okay, yeah, well, that works for you, and that's fine. And I also have a respect for people believe what they believe. People have their different beliefs about life, creation, and the world, and I respect that. And I'm not going to try and convince anyone of anything. It's not for me to do that. But I pray for people, even if they believe or not. I still pray for them, and I still pray that God will bless them in their life and their life's journey, and keep them safe, and some way, shape or how, that when they, in my belief, God, in my understanding, when you come to stand at the end of your life in front of a creator and you give an answer for your life, you'll be able to give the right one. So it's good to help people. It's good to help those that are less fortunate than you. Even right here in the UK, where we're quite a privileged country, we're not doing so bad as a country. Even though it's hard, and even though, yeah, it's tough times at the moment financially and stuff, but I think that always comes around. We always hit these points, but that'll always come around, and that's just life. But it's good that even if your life is good and you're okay, and you've got a nice bit of money, and you've got a roof over your head, and it's all right, you know. But it's good to be generous. It's really good to help people out, especially those that, you know, maybe you wouldn't necessarily normally help people out in a way that I'm thinking. But you know, when you walk past somebody on the street, you know, sometimes it's just good. I'm not saying that it might be your daily thing or anything else like that, but sometimes it's good just to help them out, give them something to eat. Maybe if you don't want them to know, and you don't want them to know that you've done that, you know. I found myself doing it. You know, there's some people that I knew when I was on the streets, and I was sort of doing a bit better now, and I've come along, and I guess I've seen them and they're not doing too well, so I went in and I paid for them to have something, and I made sure that they could get that. And I didn't want them to know it came from me. I didn't want them to know that. I wasn't about, and even saying this to you guys, it's not about kind of like bigging myself up and thinking like, you know, how generous and great that I am and all that. It's just, it's good. It's good to do good. It is good to do good for others, and you know, if we all have that position in life, then the world will change. The world can change. It is possible. But also, you know, that I understand that there are those that are unwilling to change, and that will probably take advantage. And I'm, you know, I guess in life, if you grow in discernment, you have an understanding of these things, and as you grow and you understand this more and more and more, you find that you can be generous, you can be good, you can do good for others, and you can be kind, and you can love people from a respectful place. But also as well, you know, you find a balance between not letting that intrude into your life. You're not inviting that in, you're not inviting their tragedy into your life. So you keep yourself kind of in a safe place. And you know, I guess I'm saying all this because, you know, I want you to kind of build a picture of where I'm hopefully going to be going with what I'm going to do with the car stuff and all of that. You know, it's never just the premise of, hey, let's just do this and let's get rich, famous and all that, and make a killing and have this great life. You know, as much as that would be fantastic, you know, if there was anything to gain from it and there was any success from it, then it can't be kept. And I don't believe like our successes are just for ourselves. I think you have a gift and you get given that gift and you grow and you learn and you make something beautiful, but you got to give it back. You can't, it's not fair, you can't take it with you when you leave this life behind, when you leave this world and you go off into the next place, heaven, which I know I'm going to go and be with Jesus when I die. And I firmly believe that with all my heart, from just the evidence I've seen of creation and in life in general. But you know, I got to share like my gifts and that with the world, and with those that are less fortunate, have come out of prison maybe, or they've just come out of some troubled life, or maybe they're heading into the gang life and they don't want that, you know, that's not what they want for themselves. So if I can offer that place of kind of escape from it and a place of safety and somewhere to give them an even footing and sort of repay back some of what people have done for me at times of my life, then that's what I'll do. That's what that's what I feel that I have to do. You know, and I think there's a lot of enjoyment to be had out of that. So, you know, I want things to go well, and I want to enjoy things, and I want to think on the next projects and stuff. But, you know, I've also need to be real about this as well. So, you know, anyone who goes on at YouTube or anyone who does any kind of channel or anything else, they don't just do that. You know, they have to really work and they have to earn a living and they have to fund these things. It doesn't just happen. Like, you don't make a video and then all of a sudden, bam, you're making in like, you know, 10 million followers and you're raking it in. It doesn't happen like that. But if you know people and you can get people to follow and support, and that's great, you know, and build up your kind of base, then absolutely. And if that will then start generating some funds, then that's equally as good, because you can work and you can generate your projects and you can work on your projects, and whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's cars, it doesn't matter if it's clothing lines, it doesn't matter if it's art, it doesn't matter if it's painting or spraying, it doesn't really matter. It's just the process that you go through, and you'll always need to take some kind of your finances, your what is going to give you your kind of financial stability, and maybe you take a piece of that and you put it towards your channel and towards what you love doing, and as you share that, sometimes people then want to come alongside, or they turn up and say, oh, that's really cool, how'd you do it? And then before you know it, you're teaching people how to do this stuff, and then they're going off to do what they do. And at some point in my life, I will probably get out of the UK and, you know, immerse myself into the world a little bit more and just have different experiences, you know, different experiences, all the while just keeping my love for Christ open and trying to share that love with people. There's many different ways of sharing your love, you know, if it's having a meal with someone and conversation, and or if it's just simply acknowledging somebody exists. You know, it's so very easy to feel invisible sometimes, and it has been that way for me at times, that, you know, I've been really kind of in a bad place, and I have felt invisible, and I actually at one point believed that, you know, I literally couldn't be seen, and I'd start questioning my own existence and my own worth, you know. And here we are, you know, like 6 years down the line, and this is my life. I don't really think it's that bad now. And when I get the car back, whatever the prognosis is, I will have to get that sorted out. But when I get that back and I can carry on, hopefully the HGV thing won't take that long, and I can start earning again some sort of decent collateral, which is sustainable. Don't get me wrong, agencies are great for construction, but the construction sites aren't what they used to be. It's not the same as when I was growing up, and I can understand a little bit now why my old man, he wanted out of it, so he went on to do other stuff instead. But that was years ago, so if it's been changing that, I mean, we've had periods of time where it was all right. It's made me some good money at times, but hasn't really stuck. So you know, this is a bit more sustainable money, and actually the money's good. The money will give me what I want it to do. And the thing is, with the license, it means I can literally go anywhere, and I can drive any lorry, and that'll be that's good enough. That'll be good enough. It means I can always find somewhere in the world that I can earn a little bit and travel a little bit, and earn a little bit more and travel a bit more, you know. And all the time kind of sharing that experience. But to set up what I want to set up, you know, it's going to take a lot. I need premises. I need the garage to work. I need somewhere to put cars and the projects, somewhere to offer people to come and work on these projects, the investment of space, and it can't, you know, it has to be somewhere kind of nice. You'd want to come and work there. It's got to be somewhere you'd want to come to, somewhere that has a little bit of peace, because generally people that I want to help are going to be coming out of some pretty they're going to come out of some pretty dire situations. So I want to offer them somewhere that's a little bit peaceful, where they can come and work on these projects, and we can do some good videos, and we can learn a lot together, and, you know, we can share our knowledge and pass it on. So many different parts in working with cars, you know, so many different areas. It's not just the mechanics side of it. There's all the interiors, there's the upholstery, there's the trims, there's the painting, the body shop, the bodywork, you know. There's also, you know, places that have like their water jet machines that carve out kind of like some of the special made pieces that they've had to fabricate for certain projects and certain cars. And, you know, there's all of that stuff that doesn't just, you know, come under mechanics. That's a whole different realm in itself. That's all like to do with the engineering and design as well, you know, CAD, using CAD, and the list goes on and on and on, and there's so much that you can use your creativity for to produce some really good work, to be able to showcase that work to the world, that you can make something that doesn't exist and then show it off and share that, and then somebody else gets inspired, and you know, you share those inspirations. And when you're coming out of something, you need a lot of time to focus. You know, certainly through my recovery from addiction, you know, having things to focus on and having something other than not to think of the obsessiveness of destructive behaviour. It was really important. I mean, it was vital, and recovery wasn't easy. Going into NA meetings and stuff like that wasn't easy. Man, there are some people you come across in there that, you know, they don't want necessarily the best for you, because they're not in a place where they can do that. They still don't know, and some people never get it. They'll never get it. And a lot of people that I was in recovery with and doing in NA meetings with, sadly are no longer here. They couldn't get it. They didn't understand it. They didn't understand the importance of, number one, a relationship with God, and relying on His strength to pull you through each and every day. And number two, being honest and real with yourself about your condition that you have as an addict and what that means. And I think actually with a 12-step program, when you look at that, it is a biblical reference. It is in the Bible. There are things in there that the 12-step programs are based on, but so it can appeal to a wider kind of community, they had to design it in a way that would appeal to a wider community, because some people have been in church or they've had religious parents and religious backgrounds that has not been kind to them, has not been good to them. So, you know, they then distance themselves off for everything that is anything kind of religious. So they've had to design it and dress it up in a way that would actually still get the message across, and yet not put them at arm's length and drive them away, instead of drawing them in close. So, you know, you kind of learn that, and as I learned that, it's like, well, you know, what do you do? What do you put your things into? Now I've got some hobbies. I had some archery. Went and bought a crossbow, and I thought, oh, this sounded like a good thing to do. I bought a guitar to start learning the guitar, and as much as difficult kind of, I sort of still struggle with playing, you know, it keeps me in a place of actually, you know, I've made progress with it. Small progress, but I've still made progress, so I've got to celebrate those wins. So it's really vital to keep your mind sort of occupied, so you're not constantly thinking about those kind of destructive behaviours. And as you go along in these journeys, you become less focused on them and more focused on what drives a passion in your life. And you know, I after 6 years of just concentrating on recovery, I sat there and I thought, what am I passionate about? You know, what are my passions? What do I actually like to do? What would I like to do? And you know, giving that some thought, I'm watching, I was watching, I think it was some stuff to do with cars and West Coast Customs, and I actually found it was like absolute genius, some of the things they do. And I found myself actually drawn into that and thinking, actually, this is something that I could do. It's something within my capabilities. But where do you start? What do you do? How do you do it? you know, and I started watching some other programs, and then I started getting into the YouTube, and I started to kind of, things started popping up, because I you know, the great thing about the technology we have is, as soon as you start showing an interest in something, more of that topic and content will come up in your kind of media profile, and it'll be sort of flashed up at you, that you can then sort of go to that, and then somewhere along the line you'll find that actually, yeah, there are things that you're interested in that are beneficial. It's not all just random stuff, you know. So with finding that, I found that, like, you know, these people that are making YouTube channels and everything else that I'm sitting there watching at like 2 o'clock in the morning, thinking, wow, that's some pretty impressive stuff. And then I find, like, you know, things that, like, to do with my car, you know, with a Corsa, and what other people have done with their Corsas, or what other kind of modifications they've done, and, you know, is that easy? And I looked and I thought, actually, you know, it's pretty easy. Well, to me it is. To other people it might not be, but to me that just seemed like a pretty good thing to do, and that it was within my reach and my grasp to do it. So then I started building up about a little bit about profile, and started shopping around a bit for how much it would cost to kind of modify it in a way that would complement the car without, like, blowing the engine up, which consequently kind of happens. I think that happened to do with more of my driving it hard than anything else, to be honest. But you know, any of the modifications that I've done to it wouldn't necessarily have that effect on it, but I think there were probably issues that sort of came up, and then after a little bit of hard driving, exacerbate that, and then boom, there goes the head gasket. So there's a bit of honesty for you. But even with all of that, finding out about that process, to be able to then look at how do you do things, how do you make wiring looms, how do you get from that to that to that to that, and I could kind of like see in my mind how I wanted the car to look, how I still want the car to look when I finished with it. And yet it all costs money to do it, but I built up a profile, and I wrote everything down, and I said, okay, that's how much an exhaust costs, that's how much I can get that for, that's how much I can get that part done, that's how much this is going to cost. There are other things yet I still haven't had the conversations about. The upholstery, there's somebody I know that sort of vaguely in the area that does the upholstery, and I'll start to think, okay, that's good. So how much is that going to cost? But that's a conversation to have a bit nearer the time, and all of that stuff to kind of go on. And you know, right at the beginning, you kind of think, well, where is it all going to go? It might absolutely go nowhere. Is this a waste of my time? Is this you know, is this something that I'm just going to end up just doing, and then that'll be it? There won't be anything else after that. There won't, you know, won't anything else come of it. You know. And you kind of look at the possibility and say, yeah, well, maybe that could be it. Maybe that will happen. But is it not worth trying? Because I'm sitting there watching everybody else and their videos and that, thinking, well, they're just like me in that respect. We're all just the same as one another, and you know, in a respect of we all have these kind of devices now. I think if you're a little bit older, maybe you might struggle with kind of using this stuff, but you know, it's for certainly for my generation, and you know, you kind of grow up with it and you learn how to use it, and just becomes a thing, and you think, well all they did is they just clicked play and started to record, and somewhere along the line they became popular, and they've made some good content, and it's enjoyable to watch, and people come back and things get shared, and especially if you all kind of have the same kind of vehicles and stuff, and then you share about those vehicles. And I found recently, you know, I probably know quite a bit now about certain issues that might arise with the courses and stuff, and join some forums, and we kind of encourage each other on like different mods to do, and like different problems that come up, what are they, and you know, we answer each other's questions and kind of try and inspire each other a little bit more. And there's always something to learn, you know. I don't own a VXR, that's slightly different. I don't own, my car's not turbo, so that's slightly different in that respect. But in a roundabout way, we learn from each other, and we go forward with it. And somewhere along the line, some of what we will share will be valuable and interesting, and it will help somebody out, you know. A lot of these things I watched Matt Armstrong, I like a lot with his builds, because you know, he's #1 based in the UK. I don't mind some of the US stuff, but I like to know what's going on in my own backyard, what other people that are doing. So I started to watch him, and I think, well, actually, yeah, he started off like on a car park, doing a build on a car park where he used to work. So he's come from that to having his own yard, his own garage, and built up a nice profile there, nice life. But his builds are interesting, and you learn a lot through kind of what he does, a lot through the mistakes and everything else that he does, and how he learns and overcomes them, what he learns, and it does go in. You do learn. It does sink in, and as that sinks in, you sort of think, okay, well, is this something that you would want to do? Is it something that you could do? You feel you could do? And if that is, then give it a go. I think at some point I could probably end up with a really nice car. I would probably not be able to afford to buy it off a showroom floor, so I would probably go along the lines of maybe buying something that's crash damage written off, having a look at that, and then seeing what I could do with it. One of my fancies, and I know a lot of people may laugh about this, but I would really love to build a top rally car and actually go out and do some of that rallying stuff, because I'm a little bit of a head case in that respect, and yet I feel like actually that would be something that I would get a real good rush from, you know, and it would be such just be such a great journey to #1 pick up a bit of a blank canvas, strip it down, change it, make it into what you want it to be, and to do what you want it to do, and then enter into some kind of rally. I think you can get some free rallies and go ahead and do it, because why not? Why not? Why should I don't believe in any respect or case as a human being that you shouldn't push the limits. Especially as a man, I think there are things that we're just meant to do. There are just things that will build us up by facing some of the things that actually we're afraid of. And generally, going around maybe like 150 mile an hour and jumping about like 4 or 5 foot off the air, and possibility of losing control on a heavy corner, and then rolling like a few hundred times in predominantly what you would be in is a cage. I think yeah, it pushes the limits. But still, I think knowing that I'd be in a cage, the safety equipment on and all the rest of it, I think yeah, just, you know, that would offer me enough kind of security in going forward and doing it anyway. Why not? It's not the first time that I've been on a push bike and gone over a jump and crazily, so I've lost the front wheel and then crashed down on the front forks. And it's still funny even now. But I've gone flying and you know, lived to tell the tale. But crazy stuff that we do. But you know, I think, yeah, pushing the limits out, having a good co-driver and being able to have that experience, what, you know, that would be great fun for me. And then be able to, at some point, even if you know, even if I only did it once, and then moved on to the next thing, then so be it. But you know, sometimes you catch a bug and do it maybe for a couple of years, and maybe I'll even win a trophy, but who knows. But all of that, you know, how can you use that to share with everybody? I think the process of drawing people in to help alongside and build up and kind of build them into giving them those opportunities, I think that's a really, yeah, that's a real, like, strong pull on my heart, that is. And to offer that kind of family vibe of making some great big achievements. You know, any undertaking that you do with a build of any kind, you know, you can build a house together. You know, that's a big team effort to do all of that, and you know, somebody's got to start somewhere in that kind of thing, and you take them on as an apprentice, or you just let them shadow you for a while and just see what they've got and teach them what you can, and I hope that actually those skill sets don't die. So yeah, you know, I don't believe God created a world in order for us just to bumble through it and not have the experiences of sharing love for one another. And sharing love for one another isn't all just like, it's not all about just being mushy and all that kind of stuff, but I mean real love, a real passion for things, and to share that so freely when you see that there's a need and you know that you can fill it, not just to walk by and not do anything about it and leave it down to somebody else, but actually go ahead and fill that need. You know, it shouldn't be that difficult. And quite often it is. Quite often, you know, sadly, it is that difficult. You know, we have to get our own selves out of the way in order to achieve that. So, for me to do what I want to do, and for me to be able to do all that kind of stuff, you know, it's a long uphill battle, and there's going to be testing moments, and there's going to be trials, and there's going to be big old mountains in the way that I've got to drop to my knees and pray that God will move those mountains, because there are some things that I believe in the power of prayer that can only move those mountains, because that's what I've come to know, it's what I've come to witness, it's what I've come to see. And once you see it, and once you experience that, you can't unexperience it, you can't undo that. And you know, it's not everybody's experience, but it certainly is mine. So, you know, I hope and I pray that you know, all the things that I want to achieve will come good. And even if I never really see it, I mean, here's the thing, and I'll share this story with you before I kind of cut this video. But you know, there's a whole story of David in the Bible where, you know, he wanted to build a temple for God because God had taken him through so much, and he had a real good relationship with God, and knew that even though he wasn't a perfect man and he'd done some terrible things, but he'd done a lot of good, and he wanted to build his temple. But because of the things that he'd done, you know, God was like, you're not going to build that temple, you know. but your son will. And so then it passes on to Solomon, and Solomon built the temple for God, but even Solomon went off piste. But what the story of that is you may build something and you may never see the fruit of that in this life, but then your next line will see it. They'll see the fullness of that, and that's how that kind of that goes. Is, should I not try? Should I not make the plans in order to try and succeed? Should I not get ready for some kind of realization of the vision I have for my project to reach? You know, I don't believe that to be the case at all. I think you should make the plans, and I think I'm on the right path, and I think I'm on the right track, and come what may, I think God will bless it, because my heart is pure in it, and you know, my motivation is pure, and my intentions are pure, and I think within that, I think there will be blessing, and I think I will see the triumph of it. But I also know that it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be that easy. However, going back to how I started this video, nothing that was ever worth it came easy. So I'm now going to continue this walk around, trying to avoid the flooded parts, and I think at some point I'll get home in the warm. I've got to go and have some blood taken later on, which is another thing, is to let some people test it for any conditions, anything else, and anything in my blood that might help future generations overcome diseases or conditions or and things like that. So for a wee snippet of blood, I don't think that's going to be a bad outcome. You never know, they might even prove that I'm a genius yet after all. Alright. So hopefully the next video I will upload will be some good news. I hopefully have the car back, and things will be kind of a little bit further ahead, and things will be a lot different, and start, you know, maybe start picking up a bit of momentum again. So that's where I hope to be, and I hope you get something out of this video. I hope you get something out of me kind of like rambling on about stuff, but I hopefully that will, yeah, hopefully that'll give a little bit more indication of me, who I am, and kind of like where I've come from, and sort of where I do want to be going in the second half of my life, you know. And I keep hoping for better, and I hope and I pray that whoever kind of watches this, and I hope the best for you. I really do. I really pray that God would bless you in your lives, and that you would have come to experience somewhat of His goodness in your life, and His peace in your life, and always be protected, and have some really good prosperity, that you can get to a place where you can be generous and you can share with others your gifts, and somewhere in that we can actually build a better world, and live more at peace. And all that being said, I will leave it there. Alright, till the next time.